So, we're going to talk about Pokemon cards today, but this is actually about something way, way bigger. We're looking at a totally new kind of market, one that just doesn't play by the usual rules of boom and bust. This whole thing, it's an economy built not on cash, but on something much stronger, much more resilient: meaning.
So what actually gives a Pokemon card its value? I mean, it seems like a simple question, right? But the answer is, well, it's not just supply and demand. The real value, the thing that makes these pieces of cardboard worth so much, is tied up in memory, in our identities, in stories. And when you anchor value to those things, you get a totally different kind of market, one that follows its own bizarre set of rules.
And that's what brings us to this idea of a meaning economy. It's a system where the value of something isn't just its price tag, it's anchored in pure human feeling. And as you're about to see, when a market is driven by emotion, it behaves in some really strange but incredibly powerful ways.
Okay, check this out. What's absolutely fascinating here is how these two markets react to panic. In a normal market, like stocks, right? Fear hits, and what happens? Everybody sells. It's a race to the bottom. But in a meaning economy, it's the total opposite. When people get scared, they don't sell. They hold on to their most meaningful stuff even tighter. That emotional connection, that nostalgia, it creates this incredibly stable floor that you just don't see with regular financial assets.
So instead of these violent bubbles and crashes we see elsewhere, this market, it kind of breathes. It has this natural rhythm to it, one that's driven by, well, the cycles of our own lives. You know how it goes. People get into the hobby, then maybe life gets in the way, career, family, whatever, and they step back. But then, years later, they come back, and they bring all this new energy and demand with them.
And this is that cycle, laid out perfectly. You've got the teenage discovery phase, the nostalgia hit in your early adult years, and then boom, you hit your mid-20s, you've got some disposable income. Each of these stages creates a totally different kind of collector, with different reasons for being there. It's this constant flow of people moving in and out across generations that makes the whole system so incredibly resilient. It's literally an engine for stability, not volatility.
So what we've got is this amazing self-healing system. It's what you might call anti-fragile. It actually gets stronger when it's stressed. But, and this is a big but, it has an Achilles heel. One single point of failure, a vulnerability so deep that if someone figures out how to exploit it, the entire foundation of trust that holds this whole economy together, well, it could just completely fall apart.
And that fatal flaw is something called symbol corruption. So what is that? It's what happens when you can no longer trust that the thing in your hand is actually the thing you believe it is. The real danger here isn't someone stealing your card. The real danger is that the meaning of the card itself gets poisoned for everyone.
This is the crucial point right here. A really, really good fake doesn't just scam one buyer. It's so much worse than that. It's like injecting a virus of doubt into the entire system. Because every single time someone looks at a slab and has to ask, wait, is this even real? That collective trust, the very thing that gives these cards their value in the first place, it just erodes. It chips away, little by little.
So what do you do when just relying on reputation and trust between people isn't enough to stop fraud on this scale? What's the answer? How do you build real structural integrity into an economy that runs on emotion without accidentally killing the magic that makes it so special?
And the solution is actually a really critical distinction. It's not about tracking people. It's about tracking the symbols, the cards themselves. We don't need to know who owns a card, but we absolutely 100% need to know that the card itself is legit and its history hasn't been messed with. This isn't surveillance, it's integrity. This is exactly how you build a stronger system for everyone. When you give a graded slab its own secure, verifiable digital identity, say with an RFID chip or something similar, it's not about watching collectors, it's about preserving the symbol. The best way to think about it is like a VIN on a car or an ISBN on a book. It's that fundamental anchor of trust that lets the entire market grow and scale safely.
Okay, so that brings us to the next big challenge, and it's a fundamental conflict, a real paradox right at the heart of grading. We ask grading companies to do two completely different things. First, give us a cold, hard, objective measurement of a card's condition. And second, at the same time, we want them to capture the subjective, emotional, human appeal of that card. Trying to smash both of those jobs into one process, well, that creates a huge problem.
The argument here is that these two jobs have to be split apart. You need two different paths. Path A is what we can call the measurement spine. This is all about objective, standardized grading that anchors financial trust. Think of it like an ISO standard. A 9.5 is a 9.5, and it means the exact same thing every single time, no matter who graded it. Then you have Path B, the meaning skin. This is where companies can get creative and focus on the aesthetics, the presentation, the whole cultural vibe of a card.
And when you put them together, you get this really elegant solution. You've got this standardized core, this spine of objective measurement that everyone can trust. And then wrapped around it, you have this expressive layer, the skin, where different companies can innovate and find unique ways to connect with collectors on that all-important emotional level.
So think about it. If a company, let's say a company like Ace, really embraces this future, if they adopt that secure identity stuff early, and they truly understand the split between measurement and meaning, they stop being just another competitor in the grading wars. They're positioning themselves to become part of the actual infrastructure of Pokenomics. They become a cornerstone of trust that the entire market can build on as it gets bigger and bigger.
And this really is the key takeaway from all of this. In an economy where symbols are the currency, protecting the integrity of those symbols isn't just a nice-to-have feature. It's everything. It is the single highest form of value creation you can have.
So, these challenges we're seeing in the world of Pokemon, how to protect trust, how to verify identity, how to preserve meaning when things scale up, this isn't just about collectible cards. Not at all. This could very well be a blueprint for how we need to think about value, culture, and even our own identities in the future.